This market is giving a very predictable pattern. Is it that easy? What's going on, everyone? Jeremy Ritz here. Courage pays better than fear trading. Happy weekend. I hope you are having a phenomenal day out there, and the market is printing a specific pattern that continues to hold true. And what is it? I'm going to tell you right now. Sell-off on Friday, fear is amplified heading into the weekend, bounce on Monday, retesting the 10-day exponential moving average. Tuesday, Wednesday, start selling down, take out the low on Friday, rinse, repeat. And we are in correction territory, meaning 10% or lower on IWM, Dow Jones, QQQ, NASDAQ. And we are getting there on the SPX. We're over 9%. We'll probably hit 10% either Monday or Tuesday. We'll see what happens. But this market is just going down. And here's the thing. It's going to continue to go down because there is nothing definitive or concrete coming out in terms of what is going to happen with this war. It is uncertain. And that uncertainty is not being resolved at all. If anything, it's being intensified, it's being enhanced. And we had issues where Trump would post something on Truth Social saying, hey, we're talking to Iran, there's being negotiations, blah, 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 blah. You'd see a pop in the market, but we're not really seeing that anymore because the most recent post that Trump put out there was saying that there would be a pause for 10 days when, sorry, I was distracted by that cop car pulling somebody over. There would be a pause for 10 days on strikes on Iran and hitting their power plants to give them time to work out a negotiation or a ceasefire. And that was announced after hours. Market spiked, but then it sold right back down. So at this point, investors, traders, institutions are getting tired of the noise, the promises. They want something concrete. And until that happens, they're just going to continue to sell this sucker down. So what I think we could see is, who knows if we're going to get any relief rally or bounces. It might just be, hey, until there's resolution or at least certainty in terms of what the U.S. is going to do in terms of their next move, we're just going to sell this thing off. So I would not be surprised whatsoever to see more weakness heading into Monday and this thing get dropped. And it just makes for, I don't want to say easy shorts because this market could flip on a dime, especially with Trump at the helm. He influences the market with his words. So, things could rip, but the edge is short at this point. So the way that I'm approaching this, and it took me a while to settle into a feel here for this new market structure and watch it completely flip next week. There'll be a ceasefire or something, but it's short the rips, the pops, short them. And what I've been doing too is buying puts to hedge for my long-term positions. Whenever they become profitable after a big drop, sell them, wait for the rip again, buy more puts, repeat. So that's the approach right now, because here's the thing. The longer that this war drags out, and we've been talking about it on the channel for some time here, the longer that this drags out, the more pressure that it's putting on inflation to the upside. Why does that matter? Higher inflation means that the Federal Reserve cannot cut rates. And in fact, for the first time, we're seeing that the odds of a rate increase, a rate hike, are increasing. So we went from talking about rate cuts, liquidity being injected into the market, till now the opposite. Rate hikes, taking liquidity out of the market. And you know what happens in a rate hiking cycle for the market? It's not good, right? It's going to come down. So that's pretty much the story. There's nothing structural right now broken about this market. But the longer that the war drags on, the more pressure it puts on the economy, on the market, and it will cause structural pain. It will cause something to break, and that could trigger a bear market, not a like what we had last year off the tariff weakness where it was 21.4% drop and then a V-shaped recovery. No, we're talking something prolonged, sustained, maybe something like 2022 where you had a 27%, little over 27% decrease. It could be something like that. Or God forbid it's something worse where you do have the private credit collapse. You do have an increase in inflation because of the energy prices being higher. And let's say that this thing drags on and on and on, and those oil prices still stay elevated. Well, then you have stagflation, and then you're talking recession. And then potentially you're looking at something similar to 2008 with the Great Recession, which took until 2013 to recover. So there's a lot of things hanging out there right now that just there's no reason, at least in the short term, to be bullish. Now, that doesn't mean that this thesis is locked in concrete, but until something changes, there's no optimism or even a strong argument for going long just yet. We still need to hit that 10% correction, and we need concrete evidence about what comes next. Now, something else that I've been talking about too. In 2003, when you look at the Iraq war, markets were down from the spring into October of that year. And what was the thing that caused markets to respond in a positive way and start to bounce and then be up 8% following the announcement of this thing? It was the invasion of Iraq. So after the invasion was announced and the U.S. invaded Iraq, 1 month later, the market was up 8%. Why? Because the market had clarity. It knew what was happening. It knew how it could price these things in. It knew how businesses were going to be impacted by what was occurring. So why do I say that? Well, the sooner that the market gets the worst case scenario from the U.S. in terms of what they're going to do in terms of this military campaign, meaning if it's boots on the ground, meaning if it's attacking the power facilities, Karg Island, that would be the worst case scenario. If that happens, that may be what the market wants to know. All right, here's what's going to occur. Now we can price it in. Now we're comfortable in dictating where this market heads. And I'm not saying if the U.S. invades Iran that it's going to be a rip that follows out of there, but I think you will be closer to a bottom than you are to the beginning, because we will know what the worst case outcome is in terms of the response from the U.S. The problem right now, we don't know, so the market does not know how to price it in. All right. And these things get priced into markets in advance. Keep that in mind. So if there is an invasion, if there are ground troops, and who knows if it'll be an invasion, I don't know if it would go to that extent, but the market is slowly pricing these things in. So when you get to the actual event, the whole concept of buy the rumor, sell the news applies as well. Sell the rumor, buy the news in this case. Selling it down, just factoring as much risk as possible, then the boots on the ground or a ground campaign proceeds, then the bottom can take place, because the announcement of something like that typically will cause capitulation, meaning huge spike down, bang, big drop, flush everybody out, max panic, huge bearish volume. That will mark the bottom. But when are we going to see it? So that's kind of where we are right now. We are waiting for the other shoe to drop. And then the last thing that I'm going to put out there to keep in mind, this is midterm election season. The Republican, and this is, I'm not speaking politically, I'm just talking about how this works. The Republicans cannot afford to have a stock market looking like garbage heading into midterm elections. They cannot afford to have a military conflict that is gone askew, that is resulting in lost lives that is resulting in a recession, is resulting in higher energy prices, because it will not benefit their party. So there is high incentive, massive incentive for the Republican Party to make sure that this is a quick campaign and not something long and drawn out, because there's political staying power that is at stake, right? So it's the interplay of all these forces right now that are happening. And so what's gonna happen? We don't know, but this is what makes the markets so fascinating. Anyway, I ran in long enough. This might be one of the longest episodes of Driven that I recorded, but I wanted to share my thoughts here on how I'm thinking about things. My edge is short. I'm not trusting any bounces at this point until we get clarity. And I'll be looking for news about ground troops, or when troops actually arrive on the ground. I will be looking for capitulation at that point. I will start to look for some longs. We have further to go. We can come down much, much further. But the thing to keep in mind, the longer that this drags out without any type of concrete, specific outcome or action from the U.S., the greater the chances that something breaks in this economy, in these markets, and we have a sustained bear market. So there's a lot at stake here right now when it comes to your money. So that's what I got for you here today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for your support of the channel. And as always, first of all, check out the Sunday setup tomorrow. I'm going to get you all set up for next week. We will preview the month of April. I'll have all that covered for you. We'll go into the broader markets. We'll look at individual tickers. So you still have a chance, if you're watching this video, drop down in the comments a ticker that you want analyzed. I'll put it in there, and I'll give you a shout out. So make sure that you do that. And most importantly, in the meantime, in between time, make it a great day. Honor the moment. And ladies and gentlemen, be grateful. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful Saturday.